Alright, so hey, what's up guys? It's been a while. So Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. Alright. Alright, let's do this. Right, so the central theme of today's video is kind of like about resetting in life and kind of, recalibrating and figuring out how to start from scratch after a certain period and stuff, and just kind of like going back to whatever it was that we were aiming for, our main goals and trajectory of life to be awesome and all that. Now, anyone can reset their life at any stage of their life. You could be 15, 18, 25, 40, 80 or anything. Like, there's never a point, I believe, that people should feel bad about having to start over and kind of like recalibrate and figure out where it is that they're gonna go in life. But having said that, resetting stuff at my current age right now, where I'm at 35, it really does feel like it gives, a whole different sets of challenges, especially from the mental and social aspect of it all. Now, age really shouldn't be like something, that like a make or break factor, whether, can we reset back our life, or can we kind of like find ourselves back to the path that we thought that we were always gonna be on when we were younger. And a lot of people always tell me to not get caught up in my age and just kind of like, take things a day at a time and just move forward as it is now. But I really can't help but like, to not feel like a champ or like a winner in life, considering that there's a lot of stuff that I've attempted and haven't really kind of like got to the stage I've always wanted by this stage of my life. A lot of the videos I've seen about people kind of like resetting their life at a so-called later stage in life, whether they be in the 30s, 40s, and etc. The common theme that I usually see from people is that how they've made a lot of poor life choices. That maybe they partied too much during their 20s and like, they hung out with all sorts of bad people and like kind of make, again, all these kind of like life, all these kind of like poor life choices, right? The question today I want to ask myself and like, to the audience and you guys as well who are watching is like, what happens if you kind of like, make the so-called right life choices, right? And you've made all kind of like, healthy decisions to kind of move forward with your life, and then what happens if it all still blows up in your face? Personally, I feel like I've made a lot of positive choices in my life, especially starting my early to mid-20s. I've had, of course, I'm not perfect. I've made a lot of poor choices in my earlier days, especially during my teenage years. My life was really all about kind of like going out, having fun with friends. I've never really gone to anything too extreme in terms of lifestyle choices, in that sense. But at the same time, they weren't exactly healthy choices that are necessarily either conducive or productive to your well-being and all that. But yeah, my mid-20s onwards, I've started to kind of really felt like, I've had like a mindset shift. I've kind of, started really putting in a lot of effort to myself. I kind of got really physically active. I started training really well, eating well, and just kind of like really start working and structuring my work life as well and my professional life a lot more. So, I said no to a lot of late nights before, a lot of stuff that were a bit more fun that, I kind of like rejected them and kind of like, always kind of made sure that, okay, if I could do something with my time, especially, during when like it's an intense period of like a productive time on me, I would always just kind of stay focused in and do my best to just stay there, So we're talking about kind of like positive life choices from both, either the usual road that people talk about, like, your typical 9-to-5 kind of gig, or kind of like going out there, being a bit more entrepreneurial and making your own thing. I've kind of really done both paths, and I feel like, every time I take either one of these paths, I would give 110%, and also, all these other things outside of the settings as well that, I would really just kind of do my very best to, make the best choices I can in fulfilling my true potential. And a lot of things that were really unexpected, of course, came my way, as life, always tend to throw a curveball at all of us, right? However, I do feel like the biggest one that was thrown at me was really kind of like my own personal health struggles. That really came a bit of a shocker, because starting my mid-20s, my body started acting up a little weird. It started having all this list of symptoms that I kind of had to manage throughout the day, and I personally really had no idea why they were happening. I was seeing, all these doctors, all these kind of like physicians and even personal trainers who kept doing all these tests on me, and they all keep coming back like positive. It keeps saying that I'm healthy, although personally, I'm experiencing all of this, I've gotten really sickly when I was just about 24, 25, which was something that I just never really experienced. And it was just so weird because I was still pretty active, compared to the average office worker at that time. And that, really kind of took a toll on me, not just from a physical standpoint, but also from that emotional standpoint, So that was just something that I just kind of had to figure out, and something I've been dealing with in the last decade or so. And it really, really has taken a toll on my life, whether we're talking about from a professional standpoint, personal standpoint, even spiritually. It's just this thing that, I've had to kind of figure out, how do I rise above it? So I'm not really here to talk about the how to reset your life at 35 or whatever age it is that you're in right now that you feel like, you need like a kind of reset. I do feel like there's enough productivity gurus out there who's talking about this stuff, and I think those stuff are already pretty good on their own, I don't really need to kind of put my voice in a space that has more than enough voices that, you guys could already just go check out, because any one of those videos are pretty good, whether you guys just need a bit of a company or you really do need that step-by-step guide, but personally, I don't really feel like that is the thing that I struggle with, because I find those are the things that are easier to do. The struggle for me at this point really is kind of the why should I reset again after many times of just kind of falling and falling and falling. And it's not like I've been sitting down feeling sorry for myself on most days, I go through, as I said, I have a physical kind of struggles with real physical crashes and physical pain I have to go through, and then putting in effort, seeing some relief and some results from it, only to have it kind of backfire again after months and months of putting in. That, for me personally, puts me at this stage of oh man, why should I even bother? Do I even bother at this point? Do I just kind of give up? Or do I still just, kind of move forward and find a way to just fight through things? The Japanese have this saying, "Nana Korobi ya oki," which means when you fall down 7 times, you get up at 8. They say that it's their equivalent of never give in, never surrender. You find a lot of this in their anime tropes. You find a lot of anime characters tend to have to go through really bigger or larger than life kind of challenge, right? The weight of the world is put on their shoulders. And yet somehow the main character will always kind of find a way to rise above it. And this is something that, when kind of when I look around me, I personally couldn't find any reason or any good examples to keep on the good fight and to just keep on doing the hard thing. So anime, is something that I've recently got back into. And you know what? I really do find the storyline, the characters and all, to be inspiring. And to kind of see them act out that spirit of Nana Korobi ya oki is something that, gives me not just inspiration, but really give me reflection as to wait a minute, these characters are going through things that are 10 times, 100 times harder than anything I could possibly imagine going through myself, So there's that question as to what is it that gets their gears grinding? Why do they keep fighting, right? What is the central theme for this character? And one thing I kind of notice is that they always have something that is beyond themselves, Either it is, others that they wish to help, or is it either a principle or a belief that they have within themselves that no matter how many times they fall down, no matter how many times they get injured, no matter how many times things seem hopeless, they will always find that spirit within themselves to just kind of keep pushing forward and keep fighting, right? So one of my favorite kind of interaction between God and the angels is found within the Islamic tradition, where God showed the angels heaven and hell, and I think their first reaction was that, oh wow, you know, like why would anybody pick the hellfire over heaven? Like, you know, obviously everybody will pick heaven, right? Like, this is not even like a choice. And I think God kind of said, like, you know, well, I'm gonna make it tough for them. I'm gonna cover the hellfire with ease, and heaven is basically going to be covered with hardship. And thinking back, you know, of course this is a thing. Of course, you know, like that is why most of us give up even before trying anything that's remotely uncomfortable or difficult. You know, that's why a lot of people are drawn into the anime and that trope. Deep down inside, I believe that everybody wants to be the best versions of themselves. They really want to rise above and kind of like, you know, fight the good fight, and whatever it is their personal struggles are, they want to be the best of who they are and what they do. But I think a lot of us are scared, partly because every time we look at heaven in the sense of like, even from the worldly sense, right? We see all these obstacles that's heading there. So of course, most of us get disheartened even before we begin. So, you know, having that in perspective, I suppose that, you know, I kind of viewed life in that very kind of like checklist kind of way, right? Which is, you know, get physically fit, healthy, build a good career, have a family, and then just kind of like, you know, everything just goes my way in a way that I want it to. But maybe, you know, the reason why I've been put through a test that is quite unique to myself and having to reset at this stage of my life when I thought that I would have all that listed out before I turned 30, if I'm being very honest here, is that maybe there is a spiritual element that I'm missing as well in this task. That we have one plan for ourselves, but God may have a different one. And sometimes we're imagining this reward when actually the rewards that's waiting for you is there. And I think that personally for me is why emulating the anime characters would be worthwhile. It would be something that I find that, you know, because I've had that taste of like success in its high form, whether it's even from that physically health perspective or even like financially or, you know, just that personal life. I've seen how good it can be. And I guess in some ways that's why no matter what happens, I kind of automatically always get back up without really even thinking about it. But it's just the moments when I do have time to think about, I really feel like, you know, I need like a mantra to give me that reason of like, this is why we're getting up again today. So for those of you who kind of have those days as well, just like myself, if you're wondering why should I bother to get up today when I could just be at home scrolling through social media and stuff and just kind of feel sorry for oneself, just say it out loud. Nana Korobi ya uki, and get back up and just kind of go through the day with all your might and all your strength. And that's all I have for this video, guys. Till the next one, I'll see you guys then. This is Rizwan Azali. Bye.